Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh my God, they don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh my God, no edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson! We got Johnson at 26! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary. They didn't take Dean. We traded up. We can get Jacoby Dean. We can get Jacoby Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge.
It's Sunday Funday, and this is Jets Chaos with Jeremy. And yes, we can officially start because Dr. Trollger is here with his crew. Let the chaos begin. Absolutely. Let's do it. What do we got here? Gents, Tom C. Tom C. Hello, niece. That's my niece, Leah. She's an advocate for things. And she plays the guitar. Doing. She plays the guitar. That's the sound of a guitar string breaking. She has to pull out the whisker of one of her cats to replace the guitar string. Tom C., you want to come in and chat? Want to come in, John C.? You want to talk football? Football? Yes. It's Leah, not Leia. Which is surprising because we are a Star Trek family. I mean, a Star Wars family. Her mother loves Leia. Like, loves her. Favorite character in a movie ever. Yet, we call her Leah. Go figure. By the way, I got my jerseys. I ordered more jerseys. I got I ordered a large Wilson jersey, a white one. It's not the best thing to wear because it's white. I don't know why I did a white jersey. But it's also large and I'm fat and it doesn't fit. I have to lose a lot of weight. So I got another jersey, a Wilson jersey. This time I got the green on black and it's fresh. And I got Sauce Gardner, just green, like jet green with the white. And I got the number 1 with the sauce on the back. So that one's cool. And I like it. What's up? What's up, Mark Reese? You want to come in, Dom? You want to talk? You want to chat? Iceman. You could be my wingman anytime. I'll be yours. Okay, Iceman. Iceman. So, what is going on? Why is it a fun day? Why is Sunday a fun day? Sunday's a fun day. I was kind of like foreshadowing for the future because Sundays are going to be the games that we get to watch Zach Wilson stand in the pocket and watch the opposing team's defense scratching their heads, wondering how they're supposed to cover Elijah Moore, Zach Wilson, and Corey Davis. I mean, not Garrett Wilson, and cover Conklin and cover Breece Hall out of the backfield. It's going to be a mess. And then watching Zach hit Garrett Wilson coming across the field on a slant and he taking it to the house. And just imagine how that's going to feel. It's going to make Sundays very fun. It's also going to be fun when it's 3rd and 7. Zach fades back. Tons of pressure. Need to get the first down. He zings it 15 yards. And there's Elijah. And Elijah makes the catch. and gets another 15 for some yak after the catch. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. Fun stuff. It's going to be fun. Okay, I will. I'll send you the link. Invite. Copy to the clipboard. Copied. Go into my mail. You guys get to hear how it's all done. This is secrets. A lot of people don't know about this. Then when you're in the mail, you send it to the cell phone email. I'm going to call it link. Cut and paste it. You guys are going to get a very special guest. One very knowledgeable is about to join the stream. Doesn't that make you all happy? Dun, 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 dun. Make you happy. So, who do we got here so far? Let's do a tally. We got Snowball, we got Dark Soldier, we got Domsey, we got my niece, Leah Cravat, we got Mark Reese. Mr. Reese, what's up? Snowball is in the house. He wants the other 58 jersey with the sweatpants on the back. Okay. 58. It's a good linebacker number, isn't it? But in this case, it's an edge. Garrett Wilson is seriously going to be bigger than any of us expect. Once he is a Hall of Famer. My God, I'm blind. Garrett Wilson is certainly going to be bigger than all of us expected. Once he is a Hall of Famer for the Jets years from now, the league is going to look stupid for dissing us for years. I hope so, man. Look, there's no way he's good, man. He could be special. He could be special. I'm trying to get the link to myself, buddy. Come on in, link. Come on. Why is that email not happening? He could be very, very special, Garrett Wilson, because he's a great route runner. He's super fast. He's going to be, he has all the potential in the world. But you know what? He's got to pan out, right? I mean, at the end of the day, he's got to be able to step up and do it at the NFL level. And I don't say that like with doubt. I just say that with like, that's fact. He just has to be able to do it at the end of the day, because it's not always as simple as we think it is. Like, it should be that simple. You'd think it would be that simple, but it's just not always that simple. Like, some things that get complicated. I don't know why. We watch talented players all the time, and they're not able to pan out. I'll never understand why that is. But, it's like it has to happen on the field. But he has all the potential. He really does. He's a smart kid, good character. I don't worry. Like, I don't have worries about him getting into trouble, because he's like such a good kid. Like, he's really, really a good kid, really grounded, great family, really strong family. His dad is great. I assume mom's great too. He's just a good kid. When you look at him and his family, you can look at the photos and you see it. You're like, look at this kid. This is just a good kid. And then you listen to him talk. He has all all that going for him. And then when you have all that talent, what the hell? Why isn't it coming in here? I just have to email directly to you. Come on. It doesn't make any sense. It went out the outbox. Why isn't it coming in? Should it be so slow to go to Gmail? I don't get it. Check email. Updated 2 o'clock. Updated 2 o'clock? Like, what the hell? How about updating it now? Here we go. Copy link. Okay, here we go, guys. It's going to get good really soon. Just give me a second. Should have planned this. Should have sent it ahead of time. But I was in such a rush to get in as close to 2 o'clock as possible. I said, oh my God, it's 2 o'clock. I think I got a video coming out in about an hour or two. I set it up to be released at like, I don't know, around 4 o'clock my time, maybe earlier, maybe 3 o'clock. So anyway, now all of you that are here are going to know it's not really me live. You're going to say, oh, he just recorded that. He's just playing a recording of himself. Good afternoon, Maximilian. What do you think, Maximilian? Do you think that it's going to be Wilson to Wilson right away all year long. Are we going to? How many Wilson to Wilson moments are there going to be? Well, wait a second. That's receptions. How many touchdown Wilson to Wilson are there going to be this first year? 5, 6, or Dakota? Do you think it's going to be like 10? Is he going to blow the league away as a rookie? Because I think Elijah Moore might get 10. I think he might. Look at this. What's up, my brother? Holland Carter, 1,000 yards. Zach, 60% completion, playoff bounds. I want 66, man. 66% for Zach Wilson. Maybe I'm being unrealistic. I don't know. But that's what I'd like to see, because that to me would be playoff bounds. Zach throws 66%, and Holland Carter are like animals. Like it's going to be crazy. Like it's hard to imagine. Especially if Holland Carter, like one goes like 1,000 and the other goes 700, 800. That means we had a great running game. So we controlled the ball. And if Wilson is 66% completion, like that's the kind of thing that I think could make up for our defense, as far as, going to the playoffs. But anyway, without further ado, let me bring in somebody who knows what they're talking about. What's up, brother?
What's happening, guys? Jeremy, how the hell are you?
I'm good. Just fix the specs, Jeremy. That's 1,200, not 1,000. Okay. What do you think? Could Zach go up to 66% completion percentage this year? Is it possible?
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible, and I think it's kind of necessary. If we are to expect anything on the upswing of those, mediocre 6-win projections that the media seems to have us at, 5-6 win projections. I think he's going to need to be at about 65, 66%.
I kind of feel like it's not as much of a stretch if the receivers are just like, if our receivers or if we as a team are just average in balls dropped, just that, wouldn't that pull them close to 60%? Like last year, if we were just average and you eliminated a bunch of those drops, doesn't that get them closer to 60% right there alone?
It gets them closer for sure. Listen, we got to call a spade here. Last year was one big of a cluster F learning experience for everyone from the head coach down. So, we got to rely on the talent that we saw, the upside that we saw on our young quarterback. The offense is completely revamped. The head coach, the offensive coordinator have a year under their belt. Saleh needs to now hopefully, impart some wisdom in both the offensive and the defensive schemes now that he kind of knows has a year under his belt of really running a team, as the head coach. So, 60. Listen, I don't think 65, 66% is out of the realm,
Yeah, I agree with this. He has to. This is a has to. If he doesn't, we win 5 games, maybe. You know what I mean? Like if he doesn't if he's under 60, it's hard to imagine us being over 5 wins with this schedule.
Listen, if he's under 60 and we have another 3-4 win season, the skeptics are going to be out, and you may start looking at quarterback again come draft time 2023. That's the reality. I don't think that's not my reality. That I don't necessarily think that's what we're in for, but you're going to have some people that are ready to, maybe improperly hang Zach out to dry this year if he doesn't take that second step. The question is, what's the barometer for that second step leap? Right. We're not. I don't think we can expect Josh Allen numbers. When he jumped.
Well, not his year 3 numbers, but maybe his year 2 was a step, but it wasn't it was a reasonable step. Like if Zach took the same level step that Josh Allen did, I think we'll all be feeling okay. It won't be great, but we'll be feeling okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, because everyone says, "Oh, he wasn't until year 3," but his year 2 was better than his year 1. There were a lot more flashes. He did some better things.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But you know what? it was a testament to the work that he put in. Because not if you talk to anybody that knew Josh Allen, but you heard his coaches and his peers and everyone said how much work he took to get better. I mean, his footwork and his throwing mechanics had to be completely stripped down to bare bones and retaught. And that's a testament to the kind of competitor that kid is. I got all the respect in the world for Josh Allen. I really like him. I really like, the player. I really like the guy that we see on this side. I just don't like him twice a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. The thing that is the biggest difference is now we have solid depth. I agree. Injuries will happen, but now we have legit next man in line. I like that. Yeah. The teams that win the Super Bowl are usually the healthiest. No question. I think that really helped Buffalo last year. I think Buffalo stayed really healthy, and that was a big help to their team for sure, right?
Yeah. So Snowball has an interesting something in the chat right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to be jumping ahead, but it just caught my eye.
Okay.
Zach Wilson has too many weapons not to hit 65%. I don't know if it's necessarily the weapons that are going to really get him to that level, but I will say this. The weapons now completely opens up the offense, for Mike LaFleur. He has a lot more things that he can do now to put Zach in the position to make, good plays and easier plays. Listen, if we're down 30 to 13 all the time, and Zach's in second and long and third and long all the time, he's not going to hit 65%. That's what he was dealing with last year. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, the goal is steps, right? The goal is steps. And we've, put pieces in place now where you can't just focus on taking out one piece. That whole Belichick kind of mindset is, and Belichick has been known to do it. He kind of takes he chooses one weapon on the offense that he's playing each week, and he tries to eliminate that option, right? Okay. So you come in and you play the Jets, week 7, New England's in, and you say, okay, who are we going to take away? We're going to take away Breece Hall. No matter what, Breece Hall's not going to beat us. Okay. Well, we now have a completely revamped and upgraded and top half of the league tight end room. We've added weapons on the outside. We have a second year of we now have a healthy Elijah Moore, a healthy Corey Davis. Another year of Braxton Berrios and Braxton Berrios there. There's, last year where you shut down one guy, there was nothing else left, I don't think anyone depended on, listen, this is going to be a Keelan Cole game. You know what I mean? Or a Tyler Kroft, we're it's completely different. So I want to see that, I think the big thing is that we see is the offensive line gels because, from top to bottom, from week 1 to week 17, we faced one hell of a set of pass rushers, so if the offensive line gels, we're going to have options, like you say in your intro, we have options.
Yeah. And Captain gets it right here, right here. It's like if in a reason, like Corey Davis gets hurt again, right? Knock on wood. But let's say you get that injury and your receivers start getting injured. Mm-hmm. Last year, it was like, who was there to step up? This year, even if we fall down on receivers and run a little low, we have tight ends who can catch the ball. We have, Michael Goddard got hurt when those receivers got hurt last year, but this year he's back, and Breece Hall. Suddenly, there's other weapons out of the backfield too, from a passing perspective, that we didn't have last year. It's sure. So, and I hope it doesn't. I'd rather, obviously, we all want it to be healthy, so we have just all those options. But depth doesn't have to be just in the same position. It could also just be, we're prepared to have a game plan where we could utilize our tight ends in the passing game a lot more because one of our wide receivers went down, or maybe just we're playing a team with really great cornerbacks and that's their strength. And maybe it's going to be the running backs and the tight ends that we lean on for a passing game because it's going to be easier and, to find guys open and for Zach to make decisions if we're playing a team that happens to have a really good secondary.
Yeah. Yeah. I think some of the best teams in the NFL year after year, and more so the best offenses of the NFL, have that ability to make adjustments on the fly and really be unschemable against, right?
Mhm.
So if
Yeah.
you want to shut down the running back, no problem. We'll beat you through the air. You want to you want to play a very you want to play 3 deep, and keep your boundaries free. Fine, we'll beat you over the middle with our tight ends. You want to shut down the short pass game. We'll hit you with the running backs. We'll make that very soft. That's what I want to see. I think that's the step in the direction, in the vision of what Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh have in place, and Michael LaFleur as well. Is listen, we're not want to give Zach Wilson the ball and say, okay, 20-yard digs and 25-yard outs and 9 routes all day long, and we expect you to hit all of them. No, that's not how you're going to win the game. You're going to win the game with very high percentage plays, right? Soften up the defense with the 1-2 punch in the backfield, and then put yourself in good position, second and shorts, third and shorts, and just keep grinding, right? That's the thing. That's the thing about all these weapons that we have, is that we can just, we have the ability to grind on defenses now. And I think that's when we're going to be most effective. Zach's going to be most effective with the short patterns and letting these receivers use their yards after the catch ability, their yak ability, and just make plays, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny. Like, we do have to eliminate the doubter mentality. Every time we have a tough team on the schedule, it's like we act as like we can't win that game. It's like, oh no, look at the schedule. Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore didn't win the last 2 Super Bowls or anything. They haven't exactly been dominating the league. In those first 4 games, we have Cincinnati. Okay, they went to the Super Bowl, but we beat them last year with Mike White. And then Pittsburgh and Cleveland both have quarterback issues. So I'm not saying any of those games are easy, but I'm sick and tired of being like, oh, well, we can't beat them because we're the Jets. If the Jets felt the way half our fan base feels, we're never going to be a winning team. We have to hope the players better not feel that way. The players better not feel, well, we really can't win. Look who we're playing. The players better be thinking we're going to go out and we're going to ball and we're going to win and we're going to beat these guys. And on paper, the talent and the potential talent is there. Like, on paper, if we hit with our draft picks, when you look at it, we're really, really, except for some spots on defense and some depth on the offensive line, we're really dangerous on paper, don't you think?
Yeah, but the reality is that the games aren't played on paper.
Yeah.
The games are played on the field. So this is where the coaching staff being fully together, the second year of the same scheme comes into play. Same scheme on both ends of the ball comes into play. Now we need to develop these guys. We've been young and we've been, putting Band-Aids on bullet holes for the past couple of years. Now we're in a position where we can take major strides. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to see. I want to see everything come together. I think, and I think it starts, very cliche, but I think it starts in the trenches, right? If our offensive line gels and can protect, and our defensive line steps up and does what it was completely void of last year in stopping the run and adding some pressure to the quarterback, it's going to be a whole new Jets team, something that the league has not seen in a while from us.
Yeah. And I know it's on paper and I know it's statistics and we have to do it on the field. There's no question. But when you look at the history of this offensive scheme, look what happens year 2 to it. The history of it is there. When you look at Denver, when you look at Washington, when you look at Atlanta, when you look at San Francisco, there's a history to this offense. And the history says that we're going to score a lot more points per game this year. Mm-hmm. And it's not, to add on to it, we stacked a lot of talent on to make that possible. People can't say, oh yeah, but it's the Jets. You don't have anybody. Well, that's certainly not true. Again, we have to gel as a team. We have to execute the plays as a team. And I know it's on paper, but the talent is there, right? We know Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Breece Hall, Michael Carter. We know these guys have talent. We know these tight ends have talent. We know these offensive linemen have talent. We've seen them. We've seen them do it before in their past. So it's just a matter of delivering, showing up to game day. You're right, but I think the psychology has to be coming in there believing in yourselves that you can play with anyone, but not cockiness, not relying on the next guy, but like the attitude of we can ball with anybody, but we got to go out and we all have to perform at our best. We all have to execute. We all have to take ownership and accountability for what we do on the field.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Again, the old cliche that you're only as strong as your weakest link. That's the true team mentality. And that's what needs to be developed on, because for the past few years, we've had a lot of kinks in that chain, if you will. The links have been very, very old and rusty and put together with, Scotch tape and bubble gum. We've
Yeah,
secured we've secured ourselves a completely different roster with players that are more than capable of producing. So
Yeah,
now it's time to let them produce. Now it's time that they have to produce,
absolutely. I mean, look what 1 weak link did. GVR last year. Look at the damage that 1 weak link did to this team.
Yeah, sure.
And
listen, in fairness, I don't disagree with your GVR statement, but there was also weak links at the tight end position, and LaFleur again, I'm not knocking the guy. I actually, genuinely like him, but we were trying to fit round holes into square pegs in the first 6 games last year, trying to run a lot of, a lot of 21 personnel and stuff like that. When a lot of trying to build an offense around a personnel that just didn't fit. And it wasn't until later on in the season, where we started where LaFleur went upstairs or had his, moment of clarity, where he started to make adjustments based on the personnel that we were fielding week in and week out, So the good thing is that we have a completely different set of players. We have the personnel that can make a defense very indecisive.
Yeah. And we'll see, because one of the things I was going to say is after GVR, I was going to say, because it goes by games, right? In one game, Ty Johnson killed us. 3 drops in a row, 3 drives. He killed us that game.
Yeah.
Absolutely destroyed us.
And then, like the wide receivers didn't help at certain times. Corey Davis had, a lot of anomaly, bad receiving days, then got hurt. Elijah Moore getting hurt. I mean, how many times were we out there where Braxton Berrios was really by, de facto wide receiver 1,
Yeah.
and as well as much as I like Braxton Berrios, if he's our wide receiver 1, we're in trouble. I don't think that's outlandish to say.
No, I think even he'd agree. That's not his role. That's not his job.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a great job for us at the end, and we all appreciate him, and that's why he got paid, and that's why he's been secured for 2 years, and we all love him, but we don't love him as a number 1. We love him as a special teams player who will also come in for gadget plays, or when there are injuries, come in and get the job done, because he has a lot of heart, and that's why we love him. But nobody wants to see him lining up as our number 1 receiver. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So this is a good question. Does anyone believe that Wilson? Garrett Wilson was your number 1 coming out, right?
Garrett Wilson was not my number 1.
Oh, okay. I thought he was when we did the call with Green Bean. Who did you have in front of him?
I had Drake London.
Okay.
I had Drake London as my number 1. In fairness, I'm not trying to backtrack on that. I did.
Okay.
But I had them. They were very close. And what I liked in, bygones be bygones. But what I liked in Drake London is that what he offered was completely different than any other wide receiver. And what he offered the Jets was completely different than any wide receiver. I liked his ability, his red zone ability. I like his 50-50 balls. I liked having that big, true, strong, prototypical X receiver in him. You know what I mean? That outside possession guy. But that was not. There was no disrespect whatsoever to Garrett Wilson. I just thought that what Drake London offered the Jets was completely different than Garrett Wilson, and I had him ranked a little bit higher.
Yeah, well, everyone should remember there's no disrespect to someone for not having them as your number one.
No,
You could love 5 receivers
yeah,
and then just have an order of them which you love. Like everybody jumps on Chris Sims. You had that guy number 4, you totally missed on him. It's like, no, I didn't. I
yeah,
didn't miss on him. There's in college football, how many receivers are there? I had him as my number 4. Having someone as your number 4 doesn't mean you're saying that they're not going to be a great receiver. It just means there are 3 guys you like better.
correct.
I had Garrett Wilson as my number 2 because we all know, I can't ever backtrack on the fact that I had Jamison Williams as my number 1.
Correct.
But he had the whole hamstring thing or the ACL. But obviously, once we picked Wilson, I watched a lot more tape and got myself all excited about him. but
I'm happy.
but
In
it's not like
hindsight,
I was never down on Wilson. He was my number 2. He was my number 2 because of you. Based on your review of the wide receivers when we
Yep.
went on to Green Bean Wednesday patron,
Mhm.
our Wednesday meeting, based on your evaluation of the players, I like Jamison Williams, but I fell in love with the idea of Garrett Wilson after you gave your breakdowns.
Yeah. Well,
Because
like I said, Garrett Wilson was a phenomenal wide receiver, and somebody on Twitter asked me this yesterday or the day before, and it got me thinking, like, where would Garrett Wilson have fallen in last year's draft class? Right. So Garrett Wilson was the first receiver taken off the board this year, right? Am I no second? Drake London went.
Drake London went one. So you had it nailed for that perspective.
Drake London went a pick before him. So you can say, I mean, they fell 9 and 10, so you can say, or 8 and 10, you could say it was 1 and 1A, however you had it, but they were right up there. So if you look at last year's draft class, right, if Garrett Wilson was in there, sure, Elijah Moore went in the first or second pick of the second round. Garrett Wilson would have went before Elijah Moore, I'm sure. Garrett Wilson would have went before Kadarius Toney, who went in the 20s to the Giants.
Yep.
I'm trying to think who else was in that draft class. Obviously, he would have went behind Jamar Chase.
Devontae Smith. Jamal Chase, Devontae Smith. What's the other one? The other guy.
Jalen Waddle.
Waddle.
Yeah. So he probably would have fallen around 4. He probably would have fallen between Jalen Waddle and whatever else receiver went after there, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
I'll look it up real quick. Let's see.
Yeah, I thought there was one more in between. I thought it was Waddle, Devontae, Chase, and maybe one more and then Toney. But I'm not sure. Toney may have been the 4th. I can't believe Elijah made it that far. It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Well, and the Jets had him. The Jets were real high on him. They liked him. Let's see. 2021 draft.
Yeah, I really like the fit of Garrett Wilson because of the route running, and the explosiveness. I really like that in this offense.
Yeah, so it went in wide receivers. It went Jamar Chase went 5, Jalen Waddle went 6, Devontae Smith went 10, Kadarius Toney went 20, and then Rashad Bateman went 27.
Oh, Rashad Bateman.
And then Elijah Moore. Yeah, so Garrett Wilson probably would have slotted in between Jalen, I would say, based on my assessment on the players in both drafts, I'd say he probably would have went between Jalen Waddle and Kadarius Toney. I think he's not quite Jalen Waddle, different skill sets, and Jalen Waddle is a hell of a player, but I think he's better than Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. And then we never know 100%. Like Garrett Wilson could end up being.
Oh, yeah. Garrett Wilson could end up being better than Jamar Chase.
Right. He could be the next Tyreek Hill for all we know.
For all we know, absolutely.
Yeah. Because Tyreek Hill went much later. Nobody expected him to be what he was. So
correct.
But we can only go by what we think and what we feel. But then we find out the truth. Things unfold. I'm very interested to see Christian Watson on like how he does in Green Bay.
Yeah, they just placed him on the PUP.
Oh.
Yeah. I guess he's got a lingering injury. I didn't read too much into it, but he's going to start the season on the PUP. Again, PUP list for training camp doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be out for a substantial period of time. the PUP list after training camp. Once you cut down to the final 53, if you're placed,
Right.
then you're going to be
16.
then it's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So take it, you take it with a grain of salt right now. But there's obviously something that's still bothering him, still lingering. Similar to what we're dealing with Jeremy Ruckert. Jeremy Ruckert has that foot injury from the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll see him, not have to sit out the first 6 weeks. I don't think it's the case. At least I haven't heard anything of the such that it's going to be a long-term detriment. So
yeah. I think it's close enough, and I think you would even agree, especially because they have such different styles. It's arguable, like you can make the argument and not be crazy and out of your mind that Garrett Wilson was the number one wide receiver coming out in this class.
Sure.
Right? People like you had no problem with people who feel that. It's completely legitimate to feel he's the number one. You just feel that Drake London had some interesting things that made.
I think, yeah, exactly. That's a fair point. I think you could make legitimate arguments that Garrett Wilson was the number one receiver in the class, that Drake London was the number one receiver in the class, and that Jamison Williams was the number one receiver in the class. They all had their pros, they all had their cons. So if anyone that said that Christian Watson was the number one receiver in the class, although we talked about him a lot and we liked him. The reality that he was the number one receiver would have probably been a little bit far-fetched. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
if you those three names, if you had them at the top, no one looked at you crooked. It's really just how you saw the player. And like I said, I had Drake London listed as my number one wide receiver. I just, there's some things that you can't coach, and you can't coach a player who's that size, with that hand size and with that arm radius, and that ability to advance the ball with that yak, the yards after the catch. You tie all that together, I think that's a special player. You know what I mean?
So we have a legitimate argument that in one draft that we got the best cornerback in the country,
that
we got the best wide receiver in the country, that we got the best running back in the country, and the best all-around tight end in the country. I say that with all around, clearly not the best receiving tight end in the country, but how many of the guys ahead of him that were those great receiving tight ends can even come close to him, as far as talking about the blocking?
Listen, I think you can make the argument, okay? But I think I would personally defer on the tight end. Ruckert's great, but it's hard to say that he was the best tight end in the country. I just, after what we saw with McBride, that's, I think he was the best guy. I think McBride was the best at his position.
Okay, so you like McBride? You think McBride is better than people are giving him credit for as a blocker?
Oh, absolutely. He's a dog, man. He was a dog. Listen, head to head, Ruckert might be a better inline blocker. I mean, but I don't think the fall off was that much. Whereas, Trey, what he can do, what he offers offensively right now, in regards to receiving the football and his route running and his route recognition and his defensive recognition, he's a step or two ahead of Ruckert right now. I'm not saying that that's going to really be how it is for their NFL career, but coming out of college, I think that's, that from someone who, really, really digs in and researches and studies the college football game and does as much research as I do. I'm comfortable in saying that. I think Trey McBride was a better prospect than Jeremy Ruckert.
But we could certainly argue Ruckert was top 3.
Yes. Yeah. I think you can make that argument probably seamlessly.
Okay. Yeah. So all in all, pretty awesome draft.
Phenomenal. Are you kidding me? And one that hopefully goes down in the record books, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Jermaine Johnson. He was my edge too. I was more than comfortable. I also didn't expect Kayvon Thibodeau to get to us at 4. But I was on the very, very short bus of people that was fine taking if KT was off the board, if Edge was the focus and KT was off the board 1, 2, or 3, I was completely fine with taking Jermaine Johnson there at 4. So
Okay. Yeah, Jermaine Johnson's a little trickier, like where we would rank him. I think most people probably I mean, I think what would you say? Like if there was a national poll that JJ would have been ranked the 4th best edge?
a national poll. I mean,
Like
I don't.
or okay, all the press, all the scouts, like all scouts, GMs.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think some would have had him at 3. I think some would have had him lower at 5 or 6. But the 4 is probably reasonable. Walker in front of him, KT in front of him, Hutchinson in front of him, and Hutchinson in front of him.
Those are the 3 I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
like it's hard to argue those 3. It's even though I think there's a chance he could be better than them. It's possible. It's very possible. I think those were the safer picks.
Yeah. I think Jermaine Johnson and Trayvon Walker have the most upside. And that's even and KT was my number 1 player in the class completely. If you're ranking, regardless of position, KT was my number 1 player in the class. The player I think has the chance to make the most immediate impact. But his ceiling isn't nearly as high as Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker's kind of untapped. I think people are going to be very, very surprised with Trayvon Walker for 3-4 years from now. It's going to be boom or bust. It's going to be boom or bust. But the boom could be special. The boom could be very Myles Garrett special.
The size and the strength.
Yes.
Green thought I was nuts when I said it, but I was like, yeah, but look at him. He's a beast. Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
Like,
the problem a lot of people had with Trayvon Walker was really twofold. One, he played on that Georgia defense, which we know how many stars how many draft picks they put into the NFL last year in the first 2 to 3 rounds, right?
Yeah.
And secondly, he hadn't done it for a long time, and that's a testament to the machine that the Georgia Bulldogs keep putting out, So he wasn't asked to be the man, he was really, very similar to Quinn and Williams, when we took Q based off of one really, really kick-ass senior year or junior year, I should say. That one, he had one really solid year of production, so did Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker had one solid year of production. Now, Jermaine Johnson was on that same defense and ended up leaving because of guys like Trayvon Walker, right?
No.
Couldn't get the run.
No.
So
Modine is very anti-Zach Wilson. He doesn't believe he's an NFL caliber quarterback. And I know that upsets people.
No, you know what? It doesn't upset me. I don't agree with it.
Right. I know it doesn't upset you because I know even though you don't agree with it either, I don't agree with it. But I can't sit here and pretend that there's no chance that he's not going to take that step and end up being a failing quarterback. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a guaranteed thing. Like I'm excited. I love him. I believe in him. And I'm so hopeful for Zach Wilson. I mean, I just got my second jersey of his, right? Because I didn't like the white one. I got another one. I mean, I love Zach Wilson. Yeah, I love him. I think he could be the guy for us. I believe he will be. But at the same time, I'm not crazy. Like there's been a lot of players I've loved that we drafted that I believed in, that I thought were going to be great. And I was wrong.
And I have a tendency of being overly optimistic, I'll tell you this much. I absolutely loved when we took Mark Sanchez. I thought that I bid in hard on the whole Sanchez thing. And that didn't work out, And then when we drafted Sam, I said, finally, we addressed him. We got our guy. And that didn't work out. So, I'm optimistic that Zach's not going to follow suit, but in reality, it could. One of my dearest friends in the world, he's like a brother to me, and as big of a Jets fan as I am, probably even more. he freaking can't stand Zach Wilson.
Mhm.
And I hate, I'm on a group text with a bunch of my buddies, and a lot of them are, we talk football, and just the pessimism from the Zach Wilson pessimism. He was a big Justin Fields guy, so he wanted Justin Fields hard over Zach Wilson, and that's not who Joe Douglas wanted.
Yeah. Look, there's one position I'll never be confident about completely is quarterback, because for 40 years I've been watching, and in the draft, it's always been hit and miss. There's been so many quarterbacks that we were so excited about, not just the Jets, just in the NFL in general. So many quarterbacks, DeMarco Russell, remember him for the Raiders? There were guys who came out that were supposed to be so great. Kansas City, took Todd Blackledge before Marino and O'Brien. They took him with the second pick in the draft overall in that year in '83. I mean, quarterbacks have been hit and miss forever. It's the hardest one to gauge. The only thing I'm so appreciative of from last year, the big thing that makes me confident still, is beyond the numbers and his stats. It was the flashes. It was the things that Zach was able to do on the field that still fills me with hope. The athleticism that he showed, the escapability, and just there were senior moments. There were moments where he looked like a veteran. You know what I mean? There were moments
I really like that point, Jeremy. Because some of the mistakes he made is rookie mistakes, and learning the game, and realizing that he's not playing Mountain West level competition when he's in the NFL. So there's definitely a learning curve for any quarterback that comes in, especially rookie one. That's but what the stuff that he has, those intangibles, those ability to feel the rush, the escapability and stuff like that. If you parlay that, if he can maintain that and now take steps in the direction where, he's not making those, he's not forcing throws, or he's getting through his read progressions and so on and so forth. The steps that you see quarterbacks make from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, so on and so forth. I think that's what is so intriguing to me about Zach Wilson.
This is interesting that Modine says this, because I could show you tape. You must be a better blocker than AVT, because I'll show you tape on it. Out of 11 snaps, or at least 2 of them, where AVT was not able to block Jermaine Johnson. I got the evidence.
Yeah.
So, it's not like JJ is coming in without any evidence that he can block.
Listen, and I'll tell you this much about Jermaine Johnson, and to Mo or to Jeremy or to anybody, as good as he is and athletic as he is, and yes, his strength is really setting the edge and playing the run. That's where his strength is. He's going to grow. He's going to have to grow and develop in his pass rush game. He does have good move and counter move and so on and so forth, but it's still very raw. There was a guy that came out of Auburn a few years ago who had the same kind of makeup. We happen to like him now. You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's our other edge, Carl Lawson.
Yeah, 4th rounder.
Carl Lawson had the same thing. He's coming out of college. He showed the flashes, but he had to learn. What did Carl Lawson? What has Carl Lawson done? His MO in Cincinnati and his whole professional career hasn't been the number of sacks that he's gotten. It's been his ability to get better and keep applying pressure on the quarterback. Right? Yeah. The sacks are going to come. The sacking the quarterback is not a one-on-one thing. To get sacks is you need a whole conglomerate of things to happen, right? But you can a good player can consistently get pressure on the quarterback, Yeah. And I think that's what we're going to see. I don't expect. I play the part of a realist. I'm not expecting flashy, outlandish sack numbers from Jermaine Johnson year 1. I'm not. I'm expecting.
I'm definitely, and I'm not even holding him. I'm not even saying that's a standard that would mean whether he was a good pick or not. I mean, if he has 3 sacks, it doesn't even mean he wasn't a good pick. I have more important questions. Can he contain the edge?
Correct.
Is he going to be a good run stopper? Is
Correct.
he, right?
Which is
I
his
mean,
which is his strength. Which is his strength? Listen, if you get a healthy Carl Lawson back, the Carl Lawson that we expect, right? You're still going to have JFM playing on the outside, no matter what anybody says. I know they're talking about him as a defense tackle, so on and so forth. He's still going to be taking some reps on the edge. Okay, you brought in Martin, Jacob Martin, who is a phenomenal pass rusher, right? Vinny Curry, a phenomenal situational pass rusher, right? You don't need Jermaine Johnson to come in here and flash and get 11 sacks, right? You don't. You need him to learn and develop, because right now he's probably, if there was a depth chart pinned on the board at One Jets Drive on Tuesday afternoon, Jermaine Johnson's probably on the 13, right?
yep. Yeah.
But the talent is evident, So now he needs to take that talent and learn how to develop into a professional 4-3 edge, and that's what's going to fall on the coaches, and really on the player if he wants to develop. And there's nothing that I've seen in Jermaine Johnson. There's nothing that I've read about Jermaine Johnson and his makeup that puts any sort of doubt in there. He's not the guy that is happy and is flashy and he's going to kind of lay low. No, this guy's grinding, man. He's grinded his whole, through junior college and at Georgia and then transferring to Florida State. I mean, everyone who talks about him says that he is the prototypical professional, So I expect to see the same thing,
Yeah, he's a guy, he's a mover, he's a shaker. I like that. He didn't just accept his fate, right? He didn't just bow down to fate and get turned invisible on Georgia or Alabama. He didn't do that. He overcame. A lot of people give up. When you're in JUCO, you give up. You're like, because it seems so far away and so unlikely. This guy stayed focused. When they interviewed him, he said, I knew I was going to get there. I knew. He believed in himself. He stayed focused. He got there. When it wasn't working where he was, he transferred to a place where he can get into the game and show what he can do. I love that.
Yeah.
Determination, a guy who takes control of his own destiny. You got so much appreciation for that. So the highest floor and the highest ceiling, JJ was a notch over. Okay. So you liked over Walker. It's funny about Walker when you say he only became relevant after his insane combine. I think that's exactly why you said he's such a big boom and bust, because when you have somebody that you didn't see it as much on the field, and now you're basing it on numbers and stats and like those other attributes that you see at a combine, that's when you know it's boom or bust. Like he could be a ridiculous star, or he could be a complete bust. So
did you ever have you ever played darts, Jeremy? Did you ever go to a bar and shoot darts?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Like it or not, the NFL draft is just one big dartboard, right?
Yeah.
So you have your guys, you have your coaches, you have your scouts, you have your team that kind of puts information together, analyzes these prospects, and their traits, and figure out which one they like, which traits are most important. And then they say, okay, Trayvon Walker is right there at the bottom of the board. He's that number, that 19 on the bottom left side. Let's just drill that 19, as opposed to say, as opposed to trying always to hit the bullseye. No, sometimes you're going to go with the analytic. People are going to base things off of numbers, off of the analytics, right? And a lot of what Trayvon Walker creeped up to number 1 overall was just that. I mean, the analytics show that he is, a man that big shouldn't be that fast, shouldn't be that quick, and shouldn't do the things that he showed that he can do. Again, now he did it in shorts and no shirt on, with no helmet and no pressure, so on and so forth. But that holds depth and weight to some people. Now you parlay that with the work that he did on the field. Like I said, he was a great player, one piece of the cog in that phenomenal Georgia defense, right? So maybe they're hitting that safe spot of the board was them really hitting their bullseye. That was their bullseye. That's what they're aiming for, So everyone has their different. Everyone looks for different things, and no matter if you think you hit the perfect guy, it still might bust. You said his name before. What was the guy? Russell, Jamarcus Russell from was the number 1 overall pick. And he flailed out. Just wasn't. He wasn't the guy. And we could say that for thousands of people, right? Thousands of guys, because the reality is that more guys fail than succeed, right? There's a crazy stat, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'll try to remember it verbatim. But talking about quarterbacks that are taken in the top 6 picks, I think there's like a 22% success rate, and success rate means viable starter in the NFL for X amount of years. 22%, right? So, and yes, you're absolutely right. You can accumulate points on the board without hitting bullseyes, right?
Yeah.
So everyone, listen. Jermaine Johnson has his ups and has its downs. In regards to his abilities and his player on the field and his play on the field. I really liked him. And like I said, he was my third edge. I liked him more than I liked Trayvon Walker. I liked him just a little bit less than I did Hutchinson, although I think somebody said it. I think Aiden said it. Like, he had one of the safest floors in all the players. He had the least bust potential, which is phenomenal to go and get a guy at 26 like that.
Yeah.
No doubt Elijah Moore's Hall of Fame in the end. Your mouth to God's ears, Dakota.
He's saying that about everybody.
Yeah.
He's saying it about everybody. He's funny. He's leaving out the guy that's the most important one to be a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, and that's Zach Wilson. Because that's the one we need to be a Hall of Famer if we want to know, looking back, that we won Super Bowls. Yeah. The most likely guy to become a Hall of Famer, if we could look into the future, that would mean we won Super Bowls, is Zach Wilson. Right? Because one of the ways to get a quarterback in, the easiest way to get a quarterback in, is to win a Super Bowl or two, especially for the Jets.
Sure.
It's interesting. Somebody had said before, hey, Peter, how you doing? Somebody had said before, do you think people would respect us or would change their mind on us if we beat the Ravens? Like, we come out week 1, we beat the Ravens. Is that going to change the perception? And my answer to that is no way. There's no way we're going to make up for the past 9 years, and we're going to get the joke that is the Jets to the rest of the NFL in one game. We're not going to erase it in one game. People say it's week 1, the Ravens weren't ready. Whatever happens in that game, they'll find a call that the refs made. They'll find an excuse. Whatever happens, there's no way. I don't even think a lot of Jet fans will be convinced. I think the Jet fans will be excited, but no one's going to be sitting there going, "That's it, we're good." I think even the Jet fans.
I beg to differ there. You're going to have a fair share of the Jet fans that are buying their reservations for the Super Bowl if we beat Baltimore. But I hear what you're saying.
There'll be others saying they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Yeah. Like Modine, they'll be like, "Oh, the other shoe's going to drop." I mean, we are that kind of fan base. We win a game and suddenly we're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, I remember when we beat Tennessee, everyone was like, and then we're going to beat Atlanta next week. We're going to come back and crush New England. This is it. It's happening.
That Atlanta game was such a letdown last year.
Such a letdown.
Coming off that win, and I believe it was I think it was across the seas, right? It was in London. Was it in London? It was.
Yeah.
So it had a quote unquote national feel because everyone was watching it at 9 a.m. Hey, Iwan, what's up, Reed? And then to just come out and shoot that stinker right after that, and that's, in my years of being a Jets fan, that's just what it is. Yeah, everything comes up, and then the bottom just falls right from out under you. It's horrible.
Yeah. Jets Situation Report. It's a great YouTube channel, the New York Jets Situation Report. He's a guy, you look at him without doing anything on the field or seeing him play down a football, you'd think is a top, 3rd round or higher draft pick. I certainly wouldn't, if you gave me a football and Situation Report was running at me, I would say here, and I would give him the ball, and I would take cover. So there you go. You gotta watch him on the field too. You never know. You can't just judge him just by size and strength and things like that. But in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to meeting New York Jets situation report in person on 9/11
Awesome.
in the Jets hangar. So he's going. Man, we're gonna have so many people there. It's gonna be crazy.
Yep.
Coaching has been our issue for years. Well,
I
don't think
agree.
I don't-
I agree with that, Snowball. I agree, and I will say, I've been on the bandwagon. Who's not yet all in on what Robert Saleh can do. I'm gonna give him a pass. Year one, head coach, got to figure it out. But he's not gonna have too much longer to figure it out. If we have
Right.
another 2 years of mediocrity or less, Joe Douglas is gonna have to make a change.
Yeah.
Coaching has been an issue here, man. That's the truth.
Yep. Yeah. There's no question about it. I think those days are over. I believe in our new coach, but yeah, there's no question about it. Let's see what Guy Fisher has to say. Our run game will keep defenses honest. We'll open up a lot of
One-on-ones for our receivers.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Yeah, and we touched on that a little bit before, Guy. We talked about how like some of the best offenses and some of the best offensive minds in the NFL, they offer that ability to not only be unpredictable, but to be unschemable against, right? You want to stop our run? We'll beat you with the pass. You want to shut down the pass? Here's Brees and here's Michael Carter.
Sergeant Mike? What's up, Sergeant Mike? See what he has to say. He goes either way. Sometimes he'll be very realistic. Pats are DOA. Pats and Belichick without Brady are 17-16. Brady without Belichick is 29-10. Pats will be 5-12 and swept 3 times. So the broomstick will be their new helmet logo for 2022. I like that. Happy tanking, finally catching a live stream. Well, welcome, brother. Glad you're here.
Brother.
Glad you made it, man. That's good. Where are you again? I forgot where he is in the world. I think he's in a place where this time works better because I think in Europe and places like that, it's still reasonably not too late in the evening. Yeah, it's early enough. That's why I think we have our friend Captain Keto here too, because it's not too late, Let's see. What
is the chat? What does the chat think? Chat. What do you guys want to talk about?
Well, I do want to say this, George. You have to understand that JJ was not featured when he was on that show. Because they feature the kids that are more interesting in that they're failing out, and they show the counselor trying to get them to do work and have drama. JJ didn't have any drama when he was there. JJ did he went to all his classes. He did everything he was supposed to do. He had a great attitude. So that doesn't make for good TV. So he wasn't exactly the guy that they put the camera on a lot. But there was some games where they make mention where they show the game at the end of the show and he's making a sack or something. And they talk about him being really good. So you can Google it and say which episode of Last Chance U was JJ on. I forget exactly which one, but I think he was there at the same time as Clemens. So hey, Snaps, what's up,
Mess? What's up, Mess?
Look at these guys, man. Rob V. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Rob.
What's Mo D saying now? The Jets win only one game this season. Let's hope the Ravens game, since so many of you two community will be there. Well, thank you for that. I hope that they win more than one game, but it's true. If they selfishly, if they only could win one game, I hope it's game one.
Yeah.
No question. But I think that if they win game one, they'll definitely win some other ones.
Game one will be huge. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. Oh, we got Knobcraft is in the house. I fell very far behind, so I just want to make sure. See who's here. Sean McAteer has been here the whole time. I'm surprised because I thought he'd have to be out defending the Temecula Valley, where the Temecula starts. Because he is one of the 3 McAteers that defend the Temecula region of California.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service. Fighting the Temecula fight, Sean.
There's so many people that want to come in and take over Temecula and take over the wineries, and
Yeah.
and close the Pachanga Casino, and he's like, no, the Pachanga will stay open. So I've played
Yeah.
poker at the Pachanga. Just turned in. Do you guys speak about Mechie? I feel bad for him that we have not spoke about Mechie, and we should.
And I did. I sent that text to you earlier when I read that, and man, I don't think I think it goes without saying that everyone's got his best wishes for a healthy and speedy recovery, and first and foremost in their minds, and I think it's a good reminder that no matter how good you are, no matter how much money this is, no matter how important football is to you, it's still second. It still falls way below you being healthy. So I always I hope that this is just a little blip in the radar, and we see him come back healthy and taking over the league.
Well, he's
Whoa,
we
lost you, Jeremy.
a fighter. He's things like he's Mechie. Am I back?
Wait.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
That
was off.
I'm back. Okay. Woo. Oh, I don't know where you lost me, but I was talking about Mechie being he's overcome a lot in his life. He's beaten a lot of odds, and had to prove himself. And I'm rooting for him. I hope he beats this. I hope he comes back and has a great career now. I'm really hope the best for the kid. He's a great kid. I saw a whole story on him. I really like him.
Good. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be rooting for him. I'm gonna be rooting for him for sure. So, food for thought. If JJ dominates Becton in practice, does that mean Becton is bad or JJ is good? Vice versa, also. Well, I don't know if you can say one's bad and one's good. I will say this. I'm a big believer of the mantra that the Jets have been, spitting out all season, that iron sharpens iron, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, seeing JJ line up on Becton and having Becton win a rep and then having JJ win a rep, or maybe Becton dominates in a day or vice versa. I don't know if we'll be able to determine one's good or one's bad off of that, but I think it's a win-win for all Jets fans, right? Because the iron sharpening the iron, man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look, I know that's another super chat from this one is from the Jet Show. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's very nice of you to do that. And man, I'm still getting used to that. That's it's it's weird, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And that will go to the pay for the cost of StreamYard account and all the other studio stuff I do around here.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it a lot.
So side note, I'm in the midst of kind of revamping my basement into the half a basement that my kids haven't taken over into my studio. So over the next couple weeks, you're not going to see this junk behind me alone. Probably still going to have my big comfy lazy boy, but it's going to be a whole different setup. I got some stuff in the works, so that's what I'll be doing tonight. Is finishing that stuff up, man. I'm looking forward to it. But I do have to I have to cut out, Jeremy. I got some stuff on the Traeger that I got to take off. Kids are going to be coming home, going to have some good old barbecue.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy.
Yeah, but I appreciate the time here, and I love you guys in the chat, man. Yeah, you can see me. You can catch me, pretty much all the time on Twitter, guys. At DC_New York Jets. See some articles I got popping out on greenbeanjetsfan.com. There's one that talks about the safety room that's going to be coming out this week. And just for you other sickos like myself, I got another article coming out talking about some fancy prospects in the 23 draft. I know it's way too early, but I can't get enough of it, man. So
love it. Thanks for coming on, my friend.
It was my pleasure, guys. You guys have a great night.
Take care, buddy.
All right.
So I saw someone in the chat asking, Green Bean is on vacation, but he's coming back this week. The Jets panel is going to be back this Tuesday, I believe. Did they say the 26th? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Thursday Thick of It will be back on Thursday, the 28th, but you'll see Green Bean this Tuesday. So he'll be back. Yeah, so that's like all good. Like he'll be back. Green Bean's back, man. It was just a 2-week hiatus, and the panel will be back on Tuesday. So excited about that. We'll have O'Leary, Ryan, and Green Bean back together again, and everything will be right in the world. And is Green Bean okay or on vacation? Thanks for the super chat. He is fine. He is building his studio. Those of you might know he's moved into his new house, and he's got a lot going on because he has an outdoor area, like what do they call that? Like a sea shed. He has a sea shed, like a big one, and he's like converting it into a really big, beautiful studio. And he'll be back on Tuesday. I don't know if his new studio will be ready yet, because it's a real project. But he'll be back, and as Iwan is saying, he's even dropping his new pod tomorrow. So everything is going to be a normal week, guys. We'll have everyone back. Green Bean's going to be back. The Jets panel's going to be back. Everyone is back. I'm going to be having that 1,000 subscriber party soon. I just want to have time to build it up. It's just dead season, and I don't want everybody to miss it. So I'm just waiting for the right time. But we will have a big celebration for hitting 1,000 subs. And I say we hit 1,000 subs because that wouldn't have been possible without all of you guys, the people that actually not only sub but stayed with me all this time. So we will do that. There'll be a beautiful grand prize giveaway of 1 year membership to Green Bean, level 3 to his Patreon. You guys are going to love that. And that includes a spot on his show. Like you get to do a guest appearance on one of his shows. So that's going to be pretty cool, pretty awesome. Also, my brothers and I, just keep a look for my community posts because I'll announce when, but my brothers and I are going to go live on Cravat Attack. I'll put it in the chat so you can spell it when you search for it. We're going to go live on Cravat Attack and resume live shows of us tasting and rating hot sauces. So it's a lot of fun. You know, my brothers are crazy, are pretty funny. We all interact and have a good time. And we're going to all eat the same hot sauce together and tell you how hot it is and how good it tastes. But really, you get to see me cry like a baby. So I think you'll like it and enjoy it. You're saying when these pods have to go 24/7, we're going to be on so much. Sunday, man, we're going to be on like crazy because Sunday, Green Bean still trying to decide if he's going to do it. But either way, I'll be doing the Jet games, whether with him or if he doesn't do it without him. I'll be doing live watch parties for the Jet games in some capacity. 10 minutes after every Jets game, I will be on the Buffalo Jets fan channel with the Buffalo Jet fan talking Jets with Tigo and Adam, Watsu K99. Wicker Sports Media will all be together doing the post-game wrap-up every week from week 2 to week 17. We won't be doing week 1 because we're going to be all together. So at the game. So we're not going to be able to obviously do it. And forgot to say, tune in for a new live stream show coming out on Wednesday night. Myself. Okay. We're going to stay tuned for a new live stream show that's coming out on Wednesday nights. Okay. It better not go past 10 o'clock Eastern. Otherwise, there's going to be a war, my friends. All right, because the Wacky Wednesday show is owned the 10 p.m. to 12 midnight space for a good 6 months now. Jets mess. What's going on? The answer is Lee Cravat. It's always Lee Cravat. All right. So I don't know why you're saying 9 to. Oh, it's 9 to 10 the show. Okay, beautiful. You guys can do a beautiful lead up for me and send them over my way when you're done. So. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying goodbye, actually. I'm going to wrap it up now. That's why I'm talking about all these things that are coming up. So 1,000 sub party is coming. Get ready for it. It will happen. I'll announce it officially and one more time. And when I do announce the date, it's going to be official. And it'll be with enough warning that y'all could go. And then Cravat Attack, same thing. Probably next week on the weekend, we're going to be doing those hot sauces. I'm going to be gone for a couple of days. I am heading off for a work-related event where I'm going to be in North Lake Tahoe. I'll try to capture when I'm going to do my best to get over to one of the casinos and sports books, and I'm going to be putting down some fun bets. Jets to win the Super Bowl. I might go away from that bet. I might have a better bet that I'm going to go with. But anyway, I'm going to be, I'll get a video of that, but I'm going to be gone until Wednesday. So I will see you on Wednesday. Oh, thanks, man. I'll see you on Wednesday night for Wacky Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We have a great guest coming from the Jets Lounge world. So look forward to that. Of course, the Wicker Man, Watsuke99, will be here as my co-host. As always, I will see you guys Wednesday night. Camp will be in process, so we'll have a lot to talk about. Everybody have an amazing rest of your weekend. Have a great week, and I'm excited to see y'all on Wednesday. Go Jets, baby. Go Jets. I'm delaying now because I'm looking for the video that I'm going to play. Okay, here we go. I would regret it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
We have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game, and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold?
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly here we are today, you can't get rid of him.
Right, it's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.